I'm going to talk for a few moments on the void, the Buddhist void, what that marks and represents in consciousness, and the I've heard it said that the pathway of negation leads to the voidness, understanding the emptiness of life, so that the pathway of not this, not that, not this, not that, the constant negating of our belief in the thoughts that are arising in consciousness. So, through the pathway of negation, we learn the subtle art of not identifying with the thoughts that arise. We have one constant adversary, and that is the ego mind and the animal body that we are as humans. There is an innate drive and instinct in us, no matter how well we become at or sophisticated we become in our expression. There is an innate drive to attack, to be right, to do this on the mental level, to create strife on the mental level, and on the moral level, in so much that we moralize the rightness and wrongness of other individuals. We critique their thinking, and so this is the constant adversary on the pathway of negation. So that when we're moving from what we are at the core of our being, we are always presented with a dualism, such that it arises as a spiritual ideal and an ego instinct, such that the spirit always speaks for peace. It always speaks for realization. It always speaks for reality. And the ego instinct always speaks for attack, always speaks for individual control and power. That's its job, its function. We can't change that. All we can do is realize it, become conscious of it, and ultimately transcend it. So, we're working through this pathway of negation. We have the duality set before us. We make a conscious choice through the mechanism of free will, which means we always have a choice. We can move from the judgment seat to the observer of consciousness, so that we see the dualities that's inherent as just a consequence of being in this world, of being embodied. There will be a duality in consciousness. So we see that. We don't seek to fight against it. We merely realize there are two voices. One that speaks from our true nature, and one that speaks for this world. That's fine. And if you're really to believe the principle of free will, then we all made a choice to come here. So, we're doing this, and we're negating what seems, well, what it at first is a choice. But the more we choose our nature, the less of a choice it becomes, and the more of a seduction. The big struggle that comes in constantly identifying with and making spiritual progress is we become glamorized or seduced by an idea that we're powerful, that we now have attained some kind of power over the animal instinct, which in a sense we have, perhaps partially transcended a part of our lower nature. But that brings up control. What to do with your newfound freedom, what to do with your newfound space. The pathway of negation doesn't really leave much room for creation. It's an interesting thing. So we have to dissolve that duality as well. That we can control other people's bodies, that we can control their minds, that we can control their spiritual direction, That's the illusion of control. All of that is annihilated in a profound understanding of the principle of free will. That every individual is an individual soul that has the right to choose for themselves and always has a choice on their nature, on the level of the nature of their being. All we can do is help. All we can do is encourage. All we can do is compassionate action in alignment with that individual's will. So, the void. Okay, so let's just say we're making good progress. And we're finding new space. We're finding new mental clarity. We're not having to fight the battles as much with the war of consciousness. We're seeing through the delusions of duality. We're no longer seeing things in a context of the simplistic mechanism of right and wrong. Right and wrong as a thought system is never ending in its scope for fantasy and projection. There is always a reason. We find this out. There's always two sides to every story. There's the same thing happening at the center of every individual as there is at the center of every other individual. So, we're getting past this idea that, you see so many people, they get to a certain point and that's it. They just want to take off and save the world. And so we have a ton of half-wise people in the world. We've gotten part of it and then lost in delusions. They want to be grand. They want to be masters. They want to have worldly praise for their limited internal progress. So that's just kind of the spiritual trap that happens for individuals at a certain level of spiritual attainment. But let's just say that we get past that. We're formed with good knowledge and we're grounded so that we care about other souls. We care about living things. We take on a role of a steward, of a gardener, and perhaps even we gain the gift of being a gardener of souls, or as Christ said, a fisher of men. That we truly go for the lost souls, and we do that by giving of ourselves. And we learn something, that what we are is not diminished by the giving of it. That we don't have to get, we don't have to have spiritual attainment and then get something. We go for the giving of ourself without the thought of getting, without anything in return. We just share what we are because that's all we have to give. And it's enough. And it's powerful and it's profound. And it's the truth. It's one individual soul communicating to another individual soul and illuminating another way. A way to be free. Free of the belief that your thoughts are real. That the next thought in consciousness that arises is real. You have to maintain a strong, strong center that says you always have a choice. So the void, what is it? What happens? Nothing happens, but the void, you enter in it. It's the profound emptiness of your essential nature. But it's the unconditioned aspect of your nature. In that great profound peace, and that great profound eternal identity, we find ultimately that the void is not reality. And we negate even the reality of the void. Because what is more primal, what is a priori in our existence to the void, is our creatorship. That it takes passing and transcending through the voidness and emptiness of our nature to realize we are ultimately the creator of our existence. We are one with the creative power that is sustains and holds in balance this entire universe. But that doesn't make you powerful. We're all that. Every last one of us. You are that. But the journey is what changes you. It's funny, you would think that you have more and more knowledge, but you really know less and less and less until you're completely empty. And then you're still don't know anything, but you become like unto the power that flows through you. So that you need nothing. You want nothing. It all comes in due order, and all you see is life proceeding through life. And you don't have to do anything. That's the blessed space of freedom, of liberation. You're free to sit on your couch and be perfectly content. You're free to be completely engaged in a situation, using all your creative power, all your imagination, all your will to achieve. And then when that's done, you're free to walk away, come what may. If liberation, if a state of living in that liberty can said to be anything specific, then it is nothing at all. But it's everything. So, I hope this adds to clarity on the void. Yeah, I don't know. It's worth it. It's worth it. If you're trying to reach, I don't know how many people in the world would have an idea or a contemplation to reach some ultimate realization about life. I was a strange kid. I mean, I thought everybody was like that. I had this pull. I didn't know what meditation was. I didn't know what enlightenment was. I didn't really understand the concept of salvation. I just knew that there was something more to realize about life, about what the purpose is, or what my existence was. And, I went happily on my way. And it wasn't really until some life calamities happened that revived this want and quest to know. Now I was no longer happy. Too much had gone wrong. I wanted to know why. And I innocently believed that if I asked the power of creation to show me the truth of these things as they are, that would happen for me. And it was that childlike belief that I proceeded with that ultimately opened the windows of my perception. And so that's the void and beyond.